two-income cottages. And nobody is here.
Beautiful.
So, questions for you guys? Do you guys have any questions for them?
What stuff you're talking about?
Yeah, just the time.
Rich said you got your Route 4 entry approved?
I did.
Okay.
When he came for the original, I had 2 entries approved
Okay, yep.
and a second
The
one at the
original.
farmhouse. It's a
The
pretty
original.
good day.
I did, yep.
Yeah.
So you had the original one and the other one
Yes, sir.
already accepted? You had,
Then there was a question on the size of the rooms. You're gonna be more than 200 square feet in the rooms?
Well, is that with the bathroom?
I think so, because it says 200 square feet habitable floor area, so I would
Yep.
include that as the bathroom too.
Yeah. Okay,
And it just
then
says it-
yes.
Okay.
wait a minute.
And then sleeping room, it says it can't be less than 12 by 15, which is 180 square feet.
Okay, so is it considered a sleeping room then?
Well, yeah, if it's a motel, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then like the bathroom would be, like you said, part of a 200.
So,
Yeah, see, the sleeping room has to be 12 by 15. And then
Right.
the bathroom can make up the rest to up to 200 is what I'm reading here, but you need 200 minimum.
so we were actually going over that today, when we we're setting up for the wedding, because that structure's gonna be the same. And the structure's actually gonna have to be about 2 foot wider than that one on each side to accommodate the bathroom itself. So yeah, it's there at 200, but it's right at 200. But I'm thinking about lengthening it up 4 feet just to give it a little extra room. Now, also, is that measurable space inside, or are you doing it from outside to outside like you would a house?
It says each motel, so the habitable area is 200 square feet, and that says,
Enclosed by walls and roof. Habitable floor area enclosed by walls and roof.
and then it says exclusive of any adjoining portions of roof or covered walkways, so it's basically just inside.
So it's inside dimensions. Is that how you measure a house as well? I've been wondering that because some inspectors do outside and some do. That says habitable, so that makes sense. That's interior.
Yeah, households I normally do on the exterior for them, because that's,
Yeah. So when we do the actual design, I'll come to you and we'll go through all that and we'll make, changes as needed, but, yeah, we're right at 200. And, I wanna look at, the sprinklers and all the egress and,
I've got some,
thoroughly.
I think you're gonna be able to follow the 13R in our NFPA 13R for the sprinkler system, so we'll have to follow
So
code of it.
in that case, do you have to have a second form of egress if the sprinklers are in there?
I'll double
I
check
don't think
that.
so.
I'll double check that. You might not
Okay.
with the sprinklers.
Because if you go into if you went into Holiday Inn Express, you can't get out the window. They don't want you to get out the window
You can
because
open them.
you can't even open them far enough because they have sprinklers. But I just wanted to double check for
I think-
design
I think
purposes.
the sprinklers you may not need to, but I'll confirm that.
So when I go to the fire marshal, I'll come to you first, we'll do all that, then I'll submit to the fire marshal, and any less mistakes that we have with them would be fantastic that way.
I plan to call the fire marshal anyway, because I've got some questions on something else, and I'll run that sprinkler question, and also make sure that 13R, because it's less than a 3, I forget the exact numbers, but I think it's 1 story, so you go with the 13R, and it's because of your occupancy too. It's what, 12 to 16 rooms, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, and right now, we're doing the 1 story.
Right.
That's the design. It costs a little bit more because we have to spread the footprint out, but we're pretty concrete in the idea of having 1 floor. When you go to a Days Inn or something at the end, they always have the block walls and the stairwells, and that is just aesthetically is not fantastic. So we're gonna keep it 1 floor, make it look nice. And
That's pretty nice.
So 200 square feet, and then we're gonna have an open area in the middle, just like this barn. It'll have like couches and living space so people can hang out there as well.
Lounges.
So there will be some interior space. It'll have a continental breakfast, and that's just because I need a place to eat breakfast. So the whole project's for that. Too busy now.
I think the other thing we need to kind of verify here is that a hotel needs to be on a 3-acre lot.
Correct.
And you got 2 lots that equal up to 5 point
Correct.
something.
Is there an issue where we can the lots be combined? Because the motel's sitting on, the motel and the motel parking lot, sitting on both lots.
That's correct.
So I think,
I don't know how we go about it, is what I guess I'm asking.
yeah, I don't know either.
It'd be a matter of going to I believe it'd just be a matter of going to,
The assessor.
You go to the assessor.
Just combine it as one lot.
but it'd be also the registry of deeds, I think it's some,
They would-
so you can get it all set to the registry of deeds, get it combined as one lot. Show that to the assessor.
It's just so that someone doesn't come back to us and say, hey, you had a hotel on 1.5 acres.
Sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
It'll probably reduce, it might reduce your taxes anyway. 'cause-
Okay. Yeah, we trade it as one anyway.
We'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you go up to 5 acres, we're not questioning that. but-
Sure.
Yeah, it's the, and the little lot is just strange anyhow. I mean, couldn't really put much on that, so
Right.
put both together, it's fantastic lots.
Yep.
And we do plan on buying Chris's mom's place there, the Grant's place, to kind of the same reason that we're gonna have a controlled burn on the house that's there, just for the view of, you see the motel, you see the cottages, you see the wedding facility, that kind of thing, so we gotta work that out with them. That could be a while. And again, we're gonna try to make this happen next spring, but it might be the following year as well, so,
So you got burned that house?
yeah.
That's gone now, huh?
The office part, you're saying
Yeah,
right now?
yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, fire chief can actually use that for some good training, because they can do internal training on it, because it's structurally sound, so. I'm trying not to burn down Tracy's house.
I know somebody that'll be excited about that.
Will not burn down your house yet.
Get some hot dog sticks, right?
Yes,
Because,
yes,
man,
yeah.
it's gonna be a
You
good
could
one.
sit on your front, in your driveway and watch.
Good.
In your back patio.
There's not much room in that driveway though, so don't bring friends.
I was gonna say, it'd be pretty hot right there.
Exactly.
Might be a fire truck sitting in that driveway.
Does anybody have any other
Oh, I
questions,
think
concerns?
that was it, wasn't it?
That's
Did we
what
have an
I-
opportunity during the regular meeting if you think of something?
Okay.
Okay, so we go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:07. And open the regular scheduled meeting and start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't think there's any adjustments to the agenda, correct? There's no public to speak on a non-agenda item, so we'll move on to the September 26, 2018 meeting minutes. I'll take a motion to accept those minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes for
Second.
September
Wes made the motion.
26th.
Any discussion? All in favor? Is there any correspondence? No?
No, so.
Continuing business, okay, so complete the findings of fact and conclusions for the Fieldstone cottages. All right, so I make a motion that they have the standings as owners to proceed with this conditional use permit.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? I make a motion that the planning board has authority to consider this application for conditional use permit. It is listed as conditional use in commercial district. And the code enforcement officer made a determination on September 13, 2018, that the applicant proposed use is one that requires conditional use approval. And that is why it has been referred to the planning board. That was a motion.
Second.
Brian, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Section 38.6.3, I'm just gonna go ahead and read through this. Did anybody see any changes that they wanna make in those before I move forward? Or do it as we go? I didn't see anything. So section, A, how does the size of proposed use compare with surrounding uses, and what is its impact on significant scenic vistas? The size of the proposed change to the lodging is similar to the original number of guests. The change from separate cottages to one relatively small hotel building is in keeping with the original intent of a smaller lodging setting for increased lodging in Rangeley. Ms. Forrest explained the hotel will have a downscaled exterior look similar to the large event barn on the other property. The interior of the hotel will have a lobby area where a continental breakfast could be served. The proposed event building is tentatively planned to be 28 feet by 50 feet. Do we need to change that? We do, correct?
That is the event building, not the motel.
But, okay, so that you're keeping the event building the same? Yep, okay. For a total of 1,400 square feet. The building will have a glass windows on some of the sides and allow for reasonably priced smaller events as compared to other more expensive venues designed for large events. The use compares well with surrounding uses such as the Rangeley Motor Inn across the street. The plan will have no impact on scenic vistas as the property is downhill and well below the grade of Main Street. Does anybody want to add anything to that? No? How does the intensity of the proposed use, including amount of type of traffic to be generated, hours of operation, expanse of payment, and similar measures of intensity of the use compare with surrounding uses? The intensity of use should not have much difference from original permitted use. There may be a slight increase in the volume of traffic entering and exiting immediately prior to and after an event. But many guests will be lodging on site for weddings and reunions, so these factors and the smaller event sizes should prevent traffic problems. The lodging will be open 7 days a week with check-in at 2 p.m. and check-out at 10 a.m. There will be a manager on site to make sure the town nuisance ordinance of 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. is complied with. There's an exception of up to 70 cars parked on the site for maxed out events. There will be less pavement than the nearby lodging and storage business currently in use. The use compares to surrounding commercial uses in the area. We need to look into the nuisance thing and see. I know the state changed their thing where we have it in our ordinance. We might not be able just to say, oh, change. So that's something that we, before we put.
So you want me to go find a copy of the news?
Well, no. It does say 10 to 7. But I'm just saying where the state changed it to where if you're having a band during your business hours, but we need to make sure that where we have it in ordinance that we can just like say, well, we're gonna follow the state.
And the selectmen took some kind of vote on that, which they overruled.
I know, but it's an ordinance, so the townspeople have to vote to change the ordinance. So we just gotta,
And I left just, if you don't mind, I left the 10 p.m. to 7 p.m. as far as nuisance noise, because there's more nuisance noise than just music, so that's.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. But that just popped in my head.
Yeah.
That's something that we should look into,
That's a good point.
because I put that in the last one, I'm like, yeah, well,
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, should we just scratch the times 10 p.m. and 7 a.m.?
no, that was applied to other nuisance, yeah,
Right, okay.
unless you want to.
Nope, nope,
No,
that's fine.
alright.
Can I ask a question? Weren't you guys gonna try to pass something for like construction hours or something? Recently, I heard some rumor about that. Did that happen?
Construction.
Well,
That's it.
Like 7 to 7 or something like that?
yeah, there is some stuff in the current noise ordinance for it.
For selling
I think it's the same as this.
7 to 10.
I think so. I would say.
Mm.
I'll double check.
Yeah. Alright,
Well, I'll look at it.
what is the potential generation of noise, dust, odor, vibration, glare, smoke, litter, and other nuisances? There is the potential for some increase in noise in the spring, summer, and fall night hours. Most events will be planned for Saturday afternoons and evenings. There is a planned use of a DJ or live music in groups up to 100 people when events are at their high capacity. I want to scratch that next line.
You could leave just nuisance
Yeah, the nuisance,
noise.
yeah, the nuisance noise policy will be adhered to.
So
The-
taking the 10, sorry,
yes.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, because no matter if it stays 10 p.m., it doesn't matter. It's
Okay,
still,
so just-
Any nuisance noise will be,
yeah. The planning board requests that the nuisance ordinance timeframes in the event use agreement with customers. During the winter months, the plan will be to use the lodging at times the event building for snowmobilers. The noise will be similar to that created by snowmobilers staying across Main Street at the ring at Saddleback Motor Inn. The difference is the snowmobile trail is directly adjacent to the lot, which allows for faster access and shorter travel distances to the trail network. Once all construction work is complete, there should be no issues with dust, odor, vibration, glare, smoke, litter, and other nuisances. Everybody okay with that one? Okay. D, are there unusual physical characteristics of the site, including size of the lot, shape of the lot, topography, and soils, which may tend to aggravate adverse impacts upon the surrounding properties? The size, shape, topography, and soil should not cause any adverse impact on surrounding lots. The man-made pond has some potential to cause some drainage issues to the downslope portion of the lot, but Mr. Morris attended some great trainings done by the state on proper maintenance of man-made ponds. Shane does have some plans to improve the retention wall and drainage for the long-term health of the pond. The lot has the initial steep downward slope from Main Street and then levels off to a very gradual slope on the majority of the property. There are also many trees along the sides and rear of the proposed lodging area that will provide privacy for guests in the adjacent lots. These physical characteristics will help limit any problems with surrounding uses and provide a pleasant atmosphere for guests and anyone passing by the property. To what degree have landscaping, fencing, and other design elements and materials been incorporated to mitigate adverse impacts on surrounding properties? Mr. Boris and his construction team have built and will build very solid structures with excellent insulation qualities. This will greatly aid in preventing interior noise such as live music from creating any nuisance to the surrounding properties. The natural topography of the lot and the trees and distance to nearby structures will help isolate activities on the lot from surrounding properties. All right, so conditions. Any additional expansions of use or capacity will require planning board approval. Do you guys want to put in there in the event use agreement that they agree to, do you guys have that in your thing now saying that they follow like the nuisance ordinance or?
That I'm aware of, but we just do. Because we don't want to upset our neighbors.
Is it in the contract though with the other place?
As far as with us, you and between.
No,
Like
it'd
for
be
a
you
wedding.
and your customer.
Oh, customers, yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I thought you meant between us, you
Okay,
and I, no. Yes, we tell them 10 o'clock,
okay.
But is it in the contract? Is it written?
yes.
I thought so.
So we want to do the additional expansion or use of capacity require planning board approval. And in the event use agreement or whatever that you guys have, that the timeframe with the noise disturbance of public nuisances will adhere to the Rangeley nuisance ordinance.
Okay, so can we take out the 10? Because if you find that it's
I
midnight
didn't
or
say 10.
2.
Yep,
No,
it's
I
out.
Okay.
can take up the 10, I can just
Okay,
Yeah, we'll find out.
adhere to it.
okay,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Because
Leave it
even
alone.
if it is
So
still
taking
10,
out the
our nuisance ordinance is 10. So you're adhering to whatever that ordinance says, so.
Okay.
So I'm retired by 10, so that works for me.
All right, so
I don't want to stay up till midnight.
did I make a motion? No, I didn't. My throat is starting to hurt. I make a motion to accept sections 38.6.3A through E with the conditions A and B as discussed.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
you want to introduce,
That would be great, my throat hurts.
Section 38.6.2. Will municipality and other facilities serving the proposed use be overburdened or will hazards be created because of inadequate facilities? Consider A, will traffic be able to move into and out of the site? Yes, there's a good line of sight along Main Street at the entry and exit of the properties. And the entry exit is wide to provide safe situation for drivers. Shane will have the CEO of Public Services direct to conduct a location stake inspection for the proposed location of a sign along Main Street. This will verify that the sign will be back far enough to allow a safe visual triangle within the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit zone. They will also ensure proper setback from the planned sidewalk project. B, are facilities present to assure the safety of pedestrians passing by or through the site. The town is preparing to install a sidewalk and crosswalk along that stretch of Main Street in the near future. This will provide for a safe pedestrian travel way. Currently there is a shoulder and open ground adjacent to most of Main Street and the downtown commercial district all the way up to the IGA that pedestrians have been using for years. C, does the street network have the capacity to accommodate the proposed use? Yes. And a plan for the loop road parking spots next to the cottages. Is there actually gonna be a loop road anymore?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That should probably just be changed to the interior road.
Just to, there's a plan for the road?
I just put interior road.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna take it out between the event center and the motel itself.
okay. Parking spots next to the cottages and the proposed parking lot adjacent to the planned 16-room hotel building will be adequate for planned capacity. D, do the sewage and water supply systems have the capacity to accommodate? Yes, the sewer superintendent has stated that the sewer system does have the ability to handle the capacity. See the sewer superintendent's letter, is that in here?
Yes, it should.
It is.
Yeah. In the other one. We didn't have one on the water. It says sewer and water supply.
I talked to Al about that one.
You should have one from the original.
Yeah, we do have one from the original. I think I talked to Al about that. I thought he was gonna bring me one, maybe. I'll double check, make sure.
It's just right with water.
And he did say that they did have the capacity when I spoke to him about it, so. But I'll get a letter.
All right, E, does the storm drainage system have the capacity to accommodate the proposed use? Yes, the property has very good buffer strips and drainage ditches to allow for proper storm drainage. The size of the structures are limited and spread out enough so that they should cause no large increase in volume or velocity to the storm drainage. Proposed erosion control needs to be maintained until all disturbed grounds are stabilized following the completion of the development. And E, does the fire department have the ability to provide necessary protection services to the site development? Yes, Chief Bacon has stated the department can provide adequate response to the property. See the fire chief's letter. Therefore, on the basis of the findings of 4A through F, above and any conditions required below, the planning board concludes that the municipal facilities serving the proposed use will not be overburdened or create hazard because of inadequate facilities. Conditions, and not limited to street improvement, blah, blah, hours of use, buffer screens, utility improvements, etc. A, interior road will need to remain free of vehicles and other obstacles to allow for passage of emergency response vehicles. In the event of health or fire incidents, recommend small signs spaced along the road indicating which side needs to remain clear. Shane will meet with the CEO and the Public Works Director for the location stakes inspections on Main Street prior to the installation of the sign. Erosion control barriers need to be maintained throughout the entire construction phase and until the disturbed ground is finally stabilized. Recommend the use of the erosion control mixed berms downslope from any excavation where hay bale barriers slightly countersunk and staked for drainage ditches to contain sediment. The building plans are still in the planning process and discussion with State Fire Marshal's Office for approval of the plans has started. There will be need for a fire marshal's plan approval verified by the fire marshal's construction permit, barrier-free permit, certified compliance with the state and federal accessibility law issued in conjunction with the construction permit prior to the start of construction above the foundation work and first floor surface. The planned hotel building will require an automatic sprinkler system. And should we add that the water district needs to letter, do we need that in the conditions? You're just gonna find that out.
I can ask for a letter just to,
Do we need it in the conditions?
if you guys would like.
I don't know if we do or not, I'm asking. Chairman?
I mean, we can,
We don't have it, it's just,
it says sewer and water supply, so yeah.
yeah.
And did you say that they do need sprinkler systems or they don't, in discussion just a little while ago?
The hotel room,
The hotel room, okay.
definitely
The
needs.
event center
Okay.
does not.
I
Does
don't
not.
think the event center will, because it's under 300 people.
And
Okay.
it's a line of sight egress, because it's one floor and two egress doors, but on the motel, let me say about that. Oh, so I have a 2-inch line that I put in for infrastructure, fusion welded it in. So what I need to do on the hotel is, I don't know that anything really has the capacity here to run sprinkler lines unless you have a 4-inch line.
4 inch.
So I'm gonna have to put, normally you would put a tank inside, you've seen them, I'm sure, inside the houses. I'm probably gonna bury, whatever size tank you need, but I'm probably gonna bury like a 4,000 or 5,000 gallon tank for the sprinklers. And then I'm going to, use an SVO pump, I'm gonna charge the building with it. Because no matter what flow we have, I wanna keep up all the, everyone flushes a toilet. I wanna have the same amount of flow. And I can't do that off the city's water, it's just not right. So
Yeah, right, that makes
I'm
sense.
gonna do all that in that tank, hopefully.
Yeah.
But, so I would like to incorporate that, the pump in that and sprinklers in that as well, just for your information.
I
Can I
think
say
that's
one-
probably gonna be up to the fire marshal,
Right.
isn't it?
If-
How they
right.
design it, how they want you to do it.
Yeah, so I might have to have a tank inside as well.
I know at Lake Sarge's, they made him bring in a 4-inch line, is what the fire marshal made them do.
Well, yeah, but when, like, the builder supply was going through, they would have had to put a tank in because there's no 4-inch line there available.
Right.
So, I should be able to get that put in. But, the second thing is, that's just for the water. On the fire, portion of it, when I do the pond itself, we are the drainage, so all that surface drainage that you were talking about, we get all that in the pond. So all the nasty stuff off the roads up there where you guys shut down that place, we get all of that stuff. It's pretty nasty for about a week. So we are downhill from everything. So there's two things that I'd like maybe for Tom while we're talking about it, is where we pull out our vehicles, the water comes down there and you're putting in a new sidewalk. You should look at when you cross someone's driveway, putting an engineered pan in. We did those out west and they're fantastic. It's a way that you pour concrete and it's a pan so it doesn't go down people's driveways, where that road washes out my driveways. So I was gonna come to you and try to put one in anyhow.
So it's almost like a water bar type of system.
Exactly, so it's running down instead of, it kind of goes down and comes up and it's engineered and it's just one sheet of paper. It's like a foundation drawing and it's beautiful. It's really easy. But if you're putting that walkway in, that should be something that has to happen right then when we're done. So we don't get water, everyone doesn't get water for the walkway, because I'm sure that can get overlooked. The other thing is, in the pond itself, I told the fire chief, when I redo the dam portion of it, I can put a hydrant in there. So if there's an area fire besides us, they can hook to that dry hydrant and suck water out of that pond if it's a neighbor or whatever, and they need to refill a tanker, they can come down there and hook up to that and go. We did it in Colorado, one of our places there, and it worked really well. And also I could hook the tank that's underground for the hotel, you're required to put one out west as well on the tank, so a fire truck could hook up to that, and I'm happy to do that as well.
That makes sense.
So, if we go with F, getting a letter from the water district okaying the capacity, then I make a motion that we accept it with the conditions stated above.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor? There is, and it's not shoreline
Number
zone.
5 is shoreline zoning, it does not apply.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Yes, I second that
Yes.
motion.
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor?
So, 6 is approval, based on the preceding findings and conclusions, the application for the conditional use permit is hereby granted with noted conditions. Make a motion of that.
I second it. Any discussion? All in favor? All right.
There we go.
So there is no new business. Next meeting is to be held October 24th, if we have something for the agenda.
October 24th.
That's what I said.
I may or may not be here. Probably not.
All right. So,
Hopefully we'll make it.
anything else? I make a motion to adjourn at 6:32.
A second.
All in favor?
No discussion?
No.
No.
Just check.
Sorry to make everyone come out just for that, I thought there'd be 4 or 5 things on the agenda. It stinks.
Just you.
Yeah,
I'm stirring the pot all the time.
just so you're aware, we do have a subdivision amendment that's been submitted for next meeting, and then Ellen Albrecht might bring something in as well, so. just so you're aware.
Okay.
So, no, your plans sound good. I guess we'll just have to verify that fire marshals are all okay with that. Stuff makes sense. Because we were talking about that, I don't know if you and I spoke about that too.
Where are you
Was
going?
the 2-inch line?
Clayton Lake,
feet
up
up?
Clayton Lake, where it?
Actually,
Oh.
The first-
a 2-inch line, it's 1 and